Yeah. All right.
Welcome to the Nothing to Prove, Only to Share podcast.
There's no Richard.
We're clapping.
And now we clap. Clap, please.
This is Clare Doyle. Hey. How's it going?
It's going real good. We've just been goofing on this couch.
Goofing.
In our comfy corners. I feel great.
Me too. I feel super comfortable. I feel kind of like.
Yeah, it does. It's a power stance. Like the corner. I feel like a mob boss, you know?
That's what I was saying, like intimidating.
Step into my office.
You're fired.
Fight us.
Okay. Do you want to give us a little intro?
Yeah.
You told me earlier that you're from St. Paul.
Yeah, that's true. I am from St. Paul. I'm Clare Doyle. I'm from St. Paul. I grew up here and went to school at the U of M, and I lived in New York City for a year after college, and then I moved down to New Orleans, Louisiana.
Cool.
Yeah, it was rad. I loved it, and I was pretty much settled down there. I wasn't playing music. I wasn't playing music.
Different era.
A different era. Yeah, that era hadn't started yet. So I was living down in Louisiana, having a good old time, and working for festivals. And the pandemic hit, and everything got canceled. And so I moved back up here, kind of in late 2021, and. Yeah, now I'm here.
Right on.
I'm back in St. Paul.
Have you played guitar for a while, or did you pick that up after you moved back home?
I played, I taught myself guitar when I was in college. I used to play, I sang my whole life, and my dad was kind of my musical partner when I was younger. So we would sing together, and he would play the guitar. And when I left for college, I didn't have him anymore to accompany me, so he sent me with his Telecaster, and I learned how to play guitar in my dorm room. I started learning guitar, and I think pretty quickly after that was like, oh, I can write. I can do this. Mm-hmm. So I wrote 2 or 3 songs and didn't ever really play out, just was kind of fucking around, and then gave it up. Then I stopped writing, and I stopped playing. I really wanted to pursue music when I was 18, 19, 20, but just had some bad inner critic shit, and was in some bad circumstances, I guess, and just didn't pursue it. Decided to take a hard right turn, and so basically for 10 years I would just play cover songs in my living room, sing in the shower and shit.
That's still good stuff, though.
It was and it kept me. I mean, I love music either way, so it wasn't it was I was still happy doing that. But it was when the pandemic hit that I had pursued a totally different career and was very invested in that. And when that went away, events got canceled. It seemed like maybe they would never come back or something. It was very, the world was weird. And in that space, I rediscovered music and found that again.
Hell yeah.
I feel answered your question.
Yeah, you so did.
Also, I've been swearing like a sailor. I just
totally fine. Swear more.
Per usual.
That's cool. I think that the pandemic did that for a lot of people.
Yeah. I've heard it.
That's kind of cool.
It's I've been surprised at how many people I've heard that same thing from.
Totally. So when you played with your dad, did you guys ever gig together, or did you start gigging after pandemic?
I started gigging after the pandemic. I played. So I started writing again in 2020. And I played my first show in 2022 in February or March. Cool. Actually, though, I think my dad and I did play the Dunn Brothers on Grand Avenue when I was 13.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Oh, hell yeah. Have you ever taken lessons, singing lessons or guitar lessons?
Yeah, and I've never taken a guitar lesson, but I did take, I got musical training. I was in a very too hardcore for its own good, church choir when I was a kid. and so they would teach you had to show up for 3 hours every Wednesday night and learn music theory and shit.
Damn.
And
but I wish my church would have taught me music theory, if I'm being honest.
Well, that's a good point. If you're gonna get all the other shit, the church shit, at least give me the musical stuff, that's the least you can do. with like your
Yeah. If you're
yeah.
gonna teach
Let me
me.
take my religion with a side of music theory.
That's the episode title.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, right. That would have been a nice bonus, I suppose. But yeah, that's kind of where it started. And then I took like classical voice lessons in high school. And yeah, that was the foundation.
Do you have love for classical music?
I do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I went to an opera for the first time in a very, very long time, like in the past year and a half. And it shook me to my core. That shit is it's so powerful and moving.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And I feel like it takes a lot from the body to be an opera singer. I've just started taking lessons with a new vocal coach. And so she's kind of like starting me from the bottom in a way, like because we're brand new. And she has done like heavy metal shit. And she's like, all the techniques that I use are opera techniques.
Yeah.
And she's taught me how to like find volume that way, but without that like, like without the opera vibe, but like to still use those techniques to like get power and volume and
totally
and strength from my voice. It's kind of crazy because they're not singing with mics or anything,
right?
It's
Isn't that
insane.
wild? Yeah. Well, and just it's incredible what like those small little tweaks, like the minutia, like it's amazing what a difference it can make.
Totally.
Just like a tiny, tiny shift in your placement or your airflow or like whatever.
And I find that like it's never the logical or technical explanation that gets me. It's like it's a weird like metaphorical like.
So like if you're a rainbow and you're
exactly
throw it like a frisbee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm sure everybody's heard the what is it like your doll and the a string from your head.
Totally.
Have you heard that one?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I'm a drummer.
Works like a charm.
Works like a charm if you ever need it.
All right. Okay. Good. I'll keep it in mind.
They don't give you that
totally.
one.
No, they don't.
What do they use in drumming? Like there must be some equivalent.
Do they? I don't know.
To like how about hand placement on the sticks?
The one that I got was nowhere near as charming. It was just you got to learn the free stroke, man. If you don't learn
Just
the free
learn it.
stroke, like you're screwed,
Drumming lessons are like boot camp.
dude. It's not
There's a
glamorous.
drill sergeant. There's no frilly shit.
No, not at all.
No talk of rainbows. No
Right,
talk
yeah.
of ballerinas.
Can you just say that in unicorn, please?
They don't have that.
Him.
They don't have it. It's you need to keep working, pal. Just keep working. You might get there.
Dude, I was actually in the studio, or not in the, I was at a rehearsal with Danny Aaron working out background vocal parts.
Yeah.
And we were trying to hit like a really high harmony that like neither of us really could hit, especially because we weren't recording, we were just kind of like goofing and like just trying to find the parts. And I did a thing that my vocal coach did, and I was like, place it behind your teeth, and she yeah, I was like, your highest note is right there.
Yeah.
And she was like, but then I did the note with like that thought in mind, and then she did it, and it changes the tone for real, and the power and the control, and it's
I
like
haven't heard that one. I'm gonna steal that.
my vocal coach tells me that the lowest and the highest note is right behind your teeth, and if you place it there, this is opera shit too, if you place it there, like so much volume, I almost want to do it, but maybe not like straight away on the mic, but like I think when I was, maybe I'll speak in the mic and won't sing in the mic.
Yeah.
But when I was young, well, my choir director used to teach me to like breathe from my belly, you know?
Yeah.
And like that was where I was getting my power from. And then I think that turned into like a lot of my tone and a lot of my voice coming right from my throat.
Dude.
And in the back
This
of my throat.
yes. You're the first person I've heard articulate that. I have the same problem, and you're the first person I've heard articulate that so well. It's like you're swallowing
Totally.
your voice.
Do you feel like you have power volume?
I'm learning to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I've always had a lot of volume, and I think when it was here, I was just like hurting myself.
Yeah.
So like the idea, I don't know if I can do this, but like that volume shift was me like placing it from here to up here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's rad.
I know.
Cool.
Right?
It wasn't how you just like bent your neck.
No, has nothing to do with how you
No.
move your neck.
No. All right.
I think that was just me trying to visualize.
That was just me being a sarcastic asshole.
But yeah, so and like I said, I've always been loud.
Yeah.
But hurting myself in the process, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's amazing how much less effort it takes than you think it does.
Totally.
That's been my problem mostly, or I guess my journey is like learning to relax and let it flow out. Like it's often the tone or the volume that I'm pushing for I can't actually get it unless I like relax and let it flow out as opposed to pushing it out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And that was always my thing. Like that was always what I was so proud of, was like, you can hear me in that choir, you know?
Yeah.
But I was hurting myself to be that bitch. But yeah, voice lessons have been cool. So
They're fun.
Are you doing anything now with a teacher or anything like that?
I'm not doing anything formal now. I got a laceration on my vocal cord. Like,
whoa.
It was actually coming right out of the pandemic because I think I was super extra isolated and also hadn't been performing. And then all of a sudden in 2022, I started playing out a bunch and recording at the same time. And I got a laceration on my vocal cord. So I had to work with a vocal therapist doing like rehab for a while. And that was incredibly helpful and very cool. And I still use all of those practices.
Yeah, that sounds
pretty
cool.
regularly.
Did you learn anything that you could share?
Yeah. I don't know. It's all kinds of random little things. I learned what the sternocleidomastoid is.
Never heard of her.
That's a word.
These guys. You know? Sternocleidomastoid.
Sternocleidomastoid.
And if I don't know what but part of my problem was too much tension in my neck. And so relaxing those muscles is key.
Cool.
Yeah, let's see. What else did I learn? High notes. She gave me some just really good practices for like high notes and placement too. I think part of the issue was that I was not using my mask like placement up here in the face. My voice was sitting back here.
Dude, yes.
Yeah, and it's taken like a year and a half, 2 years, but I've started to like I have a completely different tone when I place it right, and I love it.
Totally.
But it just takes a lot of practice to like get your body to relearn that.
To, like muscle memory too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally, yeah. I was in a voice lesson, and this was in college with a like professor, but she told me to place a high note that I felt like I couldn't hit. She told me to place it here, and I think that was the first time that somebody ever told me something like that.
Yeah.
And I did it, and the note was there, and I was like, holy shit.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like you want to reach for it. You think it's like across the
And
room,
like
but it's actually you want to give it everything you got.
But it's like
like right there.
Yeah.
That's what
right there.
that's what I'm starting to do is just like I see that high note coming and it's like, oh yeah, it's up in there. You just go up to it or let it whatever, you know. It's funny. You have to do all kinds of weird mind tricks to like visualize the notes you're singing and the way that you're singing them and the way that you're placing your voice and shit.
And there's also just so much to know about the voice and the body and how it all works together.
It's so fascinating.
I think that's when I really and I think I've been talking about this for a while, like trying to take care of my body as in because like my body is my instrument, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And it is cool how it's all connected. And I also have like chronic neck and back pain. And when I'm like inflamed like that, it affects my voice. And I feel like in the last couple of years, I've noticed just that the way that it's all connected and have more of a desire to take care of myself, you know?
Yeah, totally. Well, it's interesting to think. Yeah, you think about like anyone who's got a guitar or a violin or I don't know, just the care that you use. That's our whole ass body.
This is my body.
It's just my body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we get enough of an intro?
That's an intro.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think we had an intro.
Okay, what are you working on right now?
I am working on my maintaining sanity.
Period.
Nice. Yeah.
I think I don't know, a lot of stuff. I'm working on an EP. That's like one of the more concrete things. I'm super stoked on it, and I also I put out a couple singles last summer. My first singles, which was sick, and then I just didn't realize how fucking much work and time it takes to just like get new material out. And I think I was overthinking it and overdoing it. So but kind of busted out a bunch of the frames of some songs for an EP that I want to put out later this year, late summer, early fall. And then, just honestly working on keeping up with like shows and all of the things that come along with doing shows.
Word. How often are you playing out?
I've been playing at least a couple of times a month.
Cool.
Yeah, it varies month to month. And I've started incorporating more tours.
Cool.
More
Yes.
touring, which is awesome and super fun. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but it allows me to play more consistently because I'm not oversaturating in town.
Totally. Yeah, word.
Yeah.
I kind of want to ask about like your expectations versus reality of like releasing those first couple of singles.
Yeah. As far as the releases themselves, or
Just the process, maybe.
well, yeah, I guess actually everything you probably that applies to the expectations of everything were on polar opposite from the reality of everything. I had not recorded before. I had not released music before. I had not done any of it before. So I didn't really know what to expect. And I think I was surprised. I think one of the hardest parts was not being able to articulate what I wanted to hear, or maybe not even knowing what I wanted to hear, right? Just not having a vision, which was really frustrating to me because I was like, I'm an artist. Like, why don't I have a vision for this? And then I think just, the amount of time and energy and how that it takes to put even just a single together was surprising to me. And I think, and then, just the amount of work, a release, maybe it's different these days. I don't know. I never did it in the before times, before Spotify and shit, but in social media. It's a lot of work. Like I'm not one of those people who, like the promotional aspect and the social media aspect of it does not come naturally to me. So that was that's always overwhelming. And it's always feels like so much work.
That you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to, mostly because, and not, when I was doing my mental gymnastics trying to work through that stuff, it wasn't like, oh, I want to win the game, or I want to be the best at social media. It's just I want this song. I love the song and I love what we did with it, and it deserves to be out there. And this feels like the only way it deserves to be heard. And playing the game like that seems like the only way I could find to
make that
give
happen.
it. I want to do it justice.
Totally.
Yeah,
I like that take. Then maybe it feels less of a have to.
Yeah, and it feels, I think the motivation there too, for me, it's a shift from I have to do this and into I really want to share this. I really want to, I want to give this song the attention that it deserves, or whatever.
You work too hard to make it happen, to just not
To
talk
have it
about
disappear, which is an unfortunate, it sucks that art disappears if you don't, do that type of work around it. But that seems like the case. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's another way.
I will say, sometimes I find music and I look into it deeper and realize that it was released years ago.
That's true. Yeah.
So
that is the
that
thing. Is
exists.
it might disappear, but it's always out there.
It's always out there.
That's true.
Someone will find it at some point.
Yeah.
And you
that
never
is true.
know who will connect with something when too, that.
Totally.
Maybe some people aren't meant to hear it right now when it comes out, but they're meant to hear it 10 years from now.
It's a real time and place thing, I think. When I find music.
Yeah.
I'm in a certain time and place for certain songs.
Yeah, totally.
Dude, absolutely. I love when songs become part of an era.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
I love that.
totally.
Define a year.
You're immediately transported back to wherever you were. That's that one summer that you couldn't stop listening to that record.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was 8 years old, I went to Hawaii to visit my dad who was working there, and I listened to one single Nelly Furtado song the entire time on my iPod, my little, it was silver and small and it had the,
Yeah.
And when I listened to it, which is very rarely, because I mean, where did she go? I don't know where she went. But
like a bird,
visions, it's crazy how that can do that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's funny how those senses are intertwined. Smell, the smell or the
Smell, I get that a lot
the
too, for sure.
feel or the the light that you associated
Totally.
with whatever song you
Yeah.
couldn't stop listening to.
Love.
Yeah, I love that.
I meant to look this up before you came here, but you were, was it the First Ave named you like,
Yeah.
I meant to look it up, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Is it like upcoming?
It was the best First Avenue.
Should we look it up?
No. It was. I was trying to like whatever. It's yeah. So First Avenue does a best new bands
Word.
every year, and I think it's the best new bands of. So like I was one of the best new bands of 2023, and they voted on and announced it last fall, and the show then the best new bands show was in January of this year.
Cool. Tell me more about that. Did you like put yourself in the running for that, or like they just
I
check out
just
the
got
scene
lucky
and
as
they're
shit,
like,
dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I no, I didn't. I'm not entirely sure what the process is, but I was, selected one way or another, and feel very lucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool, and it's a cool too. I mean, it was an interesting show. It was a really incredibly fun show. But I think, I don't know the extent to which they intentionally choose from different genres, but it was really like kind of a cool mashup of different scenes in the Twin Cities.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. As far as like a band goes, like do you play with a band regularly?
Yeah, I
Cool,
do.
okay.
Yeah, when I first started, I was playing solo almost exclusively, and then slowly, or I guess eventually, got a band together. And it's been kind of a musical chairs situation often. But yes, I try to play with a band as much as I can now because it's just really fucking fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still kind of musical chair vibe?
Every now and then, but it's more of a set crew now.
Who is it?
So Kai Brewster plays guitar with me.
Okay.
He's magical. He's just straight up magical. Taylor James Donsky
Yes, we
plays
know
bass.
TJD.
Yeah,
Hey.
also magical. I feel very lucky. I play with, they're just like wonderful, wonderful humans. And Alex Young is on drums. Also magical. So I feel really lucky. I was like pretty, for a while I was like a little, not bummed, but like I had a very different set of personnel most of the time, and I was like, God, I just want to get to a point where I have like a set crew, set unit, so that we can like gel and.
Totally.
But it ended up being really, beneficial for me because I had never played with a band before, and I got to see like 3 or 4 different. I've had at least 4 different players on each instrument.
Wow.
Which is like been so good for my. It was just good for me to hear like the different styles that people play in and the different parts that they hear. It was just good exposure for me.
Were you testing people out, or is it musical chairs because
No, it was a scheduling thing.
Sure.
It was usually just like I found out about a show on short notice and whoever was available filled the spot. I got super fucking lucky. I mean, I really there wasn't everybody that I played with is like really killer. Like I got, I got, it was like cream of the crop.
Yeah. How did you go about finding people? Like, did you just like people in town that you knew of and like they're playing?
Yeah. Well, the first few shows, I had recorded my singles with, when I recorded my singles, the guy I was recording with had basically his bandmates come in and track for the singles, and then I ended up asking them to play with me, and then gradually they would be booked for a show, and so I would get a sub, and then just kind of moved on from there.
Word.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
How do you define success?
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Damn,
whoa,
bro.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Whoa, time to
whoa,
restart the cameras.
hold on.
That's a hard question. I'm still figuring that out. I think, and this sounds like really almost like a cop out, but like, in my like most, okay, how am I going to say this? I want to define success when I've thought about this for myself, because I went from a life of like I think I was like really suppressing my creativity into like, boom, go, be creative, be an artist, and like, I didn't have time to develop a relationship with my creativity or art before I started putting it out. Like I just,
Yep.
and so very quickly it became about the external response. And I think I've had to sit down and like think about this, because in your moments, like we all have moments where it's like too much or whatever, and we need to reconnect with why we're doing it. Anyway, that was a really long way of saying like,
Totally hear you.
I when I've sat down and thought about it and like what I want my life to look like and what I want my relationship with creativity to look like, I've defined success for me as not in even just in art, but in like being a human and being alive, as like living in alignment with creative values, which to me are like connection and joy and pleasure and humor and community and those kind of nice flowery things. And that's so abstract, I know.
I visualized it all.
But like, yeah, I just, in my head, I have these two columns, and it's like column A is all of the shit where it's like, I'm values like comparison, and I'm not doing it enough. I'm not enough. I'm not whatever. Those I would consider like not in alignment with creative values. And then I have the other column, which is those things I just named. And I want to spend more time over. That's, I guess, success for me, is spending the most time in that column where I'm connected with those values and doing, yeah,
for sure. I think
it's like a non-answer.
No, I'm hearing you. I think it's cool too how like once you get yourself to that column, I do feel like everything kind of falls together too. Like the humor and the community and the pleasure, like that all those things come kind of together, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. They like buoy everything. And bleed into each other and feed each other.
I'd interject and say that you can't get to column can't get to column B without column A. If you don't ever have that self-doubt and that self-criticism,
I
don't know if you can get to like where you want to be without a little bit of having to push yourself.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, I push myself a lot. Like I'll find myself in that column of like, I'm doing what I want, having a good time, I'm really enjoying myself. And once I spend too much time in that column, a little bit of the other one will come back and push me towards something further. More
interesting.
Kind of like, yeah.
And maybe that's just my fear of like being stagnant. Like I don't like just sitting still. I always want to keep moving.
Yeah.
But like that's part of, I think, that
No,
column.
that's a good like it's like you can't have, I don't know, what do they say? Like you can't appreciate joy and happiness and all of the good moments without the downer ones.
And acknowledging that it just ebbs and flows too. Like we're never gonna get to column B and stay there forever.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not how it works.
You guys, this is a really big fat reality check for you.
Yeah, right. Did we have some we had some bit like 2 seasons ago or 1 season ago. I don't know if I was even on the show. We were just like packing up, and it was like, you don't even know what a dub is. Until you take like an L or something. It was something adjacent. It was something adjacent.
That's it too. That's
like,
it.
how do you know when you're winning if you've never lost?
No shit. Another good episode title.
That was a good episode title.
No, for sure.
Damn, that's so yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like asking this question, because that's kind of like that's it, is that it's always different and it's always fluctuating and it's always changing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah. So do you have any is there anything that you do or that helps you get out of that funk when you are feeling like more self-critical or Aurelio said stagnant.
Yeah, let's see. I think I always, usually if I'm like way deep in that shit, I need to like go outside and
Yeah.
Touch some grass.
touch some
Touch
grass.
the fucking
You know what I
earth.
mean? Like I need to have the sun on my skin and like probably like run around somewhere. Willie Nelson is like a go-to. Something about Willie Nelson, it just like reminds me what's right. You know, his voice is, it's whatever it is. Sometimes it's his writing, sometimes it's his voice alone. That's just like, oh yeah, it's just touches your soul, you know, like, and reminds me, and he's not the only one. There's other like things that I can put on music that like reminds me like, oh, this is why this is important to me. Like it's not about whatever, playing whatever show or
Yeah,
getting to whatever point or,
for sure.
you know, that shit.
What about you, Aurelia? Do you have any hacks or any like things that you do to get out of a funk?
Well, it's pretty tough when you're in the funk to get out of the funk.
Oh,
you
girl,
know?
I know. Sorry.
But I don't know. A lot of it is like, even when I don't feel like doing, like if I'm in a funk and I'm like, dude, you know, it's drummer boot camp, dude,
Yeah.
brother,
Brother.
your single strokes, they're terrible. You know, I'll work on my single strokes, but then I'll also like, I don't know, like go outside. Or my thought was like, the last time it happened to me, I think it was when I watched Moonstruck for the first time, which was like a couple months. Have you guys seen
I
it?
don't know. I do.
I haven't seen
No,
it.
okay.
I can picture the cover of it though.
It's got Cher.
And when I say cover, I mean the VHS.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
it's like
yeah.
about it's a
In
moon like and like
Blockbuster.
Cher and Nick Cage are in it. It's from like '84, I think. I don't know.
Cher and Nick Cage.
are in a movie together.
What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, I know.
I'll watch it.
It's an amazing movie, and it's all about the opera. You know.
Oh,
Like,
really?
well, it's not all about the opera, but there's the opera plays.
There is a
big-
romantic subplot.
The whole
Obviously.
movie is the romantic subplot, and then just the
And then
opera is
opera's
involved.
right.
The opera is a vessel for a lot of the
Yeah.
Interesting.
subplot, or not even the subplot, just the plot.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. Now I feel like I have to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. And I know I had gone and shedded for like an hour or two, and then came home and watched that movie after making dinner. And then I finished that movie, and it was so good, and like just really like kind of bit me at like a human level that I went back. I went back to the studio and was like, I'm just gonna play to like a bunch of like big band, like just swing. Like it wasn't even for practice. I just wanted to play
Just
music.
to play.
Yeah.
Just 'cause
for
I-
fun.
Yeah, just for fun. And the vibe was kind of like, you know, Frank Sinatra's greatest hits. Just
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
swinging. So like a movie is good. Like a good movie will do it.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
will like push. Is good
I
to
think
push you.
consuming any art.
Any kind of art, and like not even music. Like sometimes, you know, like
Yeah.
like Willie Nelson. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's like J.J. Cale.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a lot of his songs are just like, oh, dude. But like sometimes music isn't the solution for me.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
It's a movie, or it's like just an art, like the Walker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some other thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Going out and being alive.
Yeah.
What's yours?
Absolutely.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I think all of that.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've been swimming.
Oh, bro, I've been swimming this last week.
I haven't hit the lake.
I
yet.
love swimming and like.
You doing lake swimming?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you like to swim?
I do like to swim. I'm more of like a river swimmer because the
Okay.
moving water, I feel like.
For
I don't know.
sure.
So I get a little weird about
Do you
some
have any
lakes.
river wrecks? Let me know.
St. Croix River.
St.
Okay.
Croix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm swimming all summer if either of you are interested. Like, I'll be in the lake
Yeah.
or the river.
If it's water, I'll be in it.
I'll let you know when we're going to the river beach.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think being outside, I was like, dude, yeah, being in the fucking water. It was literally like last Tuesday was the first time I had swim since it's been nice, and I just feel so much more alive when I'm outside. And I feel so much more like a human. But yeah, I think that I'm trying harder to understand and appreciate that like being in column A is a part of the process, and kind of leaning into that too. Like, I think I have a hard time writing when I'm really happy and good and like everything's going my way. Mm-hmm. So I'm really trying to, like, when I am down and when I am having a not so great time, that's when I make myself do the thing anyways. or writing specifically, I should say. Singing can't stop me from doing that. She's doing it all the time. But yeah, I think just acknowledging instead of avoiding, which is like my go-to thing, is to just like pretend it doesn't exist, that bad feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely working on that. I'm not perfected that yet by any means.
No, that's for sure. Like, you guys are way ahead of me. I'm like, I'm pretending, or like trying, I think getting trapped in this idea that like you can spend all your time in the good column is maybe where I'm, that's like, I'm on step 2, accepting there's another column. Like you have to spend some time in the other column.
Sorry to break it to you, man. Yeah, for sure. And it can be hard for sure. For sure. And like when I am in column B, I'm like, fuck, I didn't do what I was supposed to when I was pissed at the world. And you know what I mean? I think it's hard. It's super hard to get yourself out of that and to like to try to make that part productive too, or like helpful in the whole big picture. You know?
That is a lot of pressure though, to expect yourself to be in that place and be productive and use it.
I know, but I want to.
No, totally. I gotta say though, some of the shit that comes out of that space is like
scary.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe not for anybody else's ears. Yeah. No, absolutely. I was just Tom, who owns the studio. We were hanging out in here before we started, and he said, write when you're drunk and edit when you're sober. And we were,
whoa.
Oh yeah.
And we were talking about that in the sense of like write when you're sad or write when you're in column B and edit when you're
let
in
it
column.
out. Yeah. Get it out when you're sad. Yeah. No, that's a good call.
Yeah, for sure.
But also
go swimming.
But also like get drunk and then like be sober later.
Right. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Or go swimming.
Or go swimming.
For sure.
Do both.
It's summertime, so like I think I'm stuck in column B now. Like I'm everything's getting great and happy and things are awesome and the sun's shining. It's hard to get me down in the summertime.
Well, it's hard to pee down. Oh, no, I mean, I've done it.
I've heard you done it.
It can be done, but no, it makes it a lot easier to like. There's just so much joy
Plus,
out there.
like everybody's making music everybody's playing music in the summer. Yeah. So that's another big thing for me. Like going out and seeing shows. That is when I feel most inspired too. When I see a fucking awesome show.
Yeah.
And I think almost always when I see a live performance, probably always, I'm like, fuck. I want it. Why didn't I
want to go do that?
I want to be that.
Yeah.
I want to do that right now.
I should be up there.
What was the last one that was like that for you? What did you see?
I just saw a really great show too. I'm thinking of all the Art of World shows, and Art of World was great. But bro, I saw a derecho at Berlin, Alan Sparhawk and Izzy Cruz, and some other guys, and yeah, I think when there's a crazy vocalist, especially, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can do that, and I want to do it.
Yeah, hell yeah, totally.
Yeah, but I actually saw McNasty Brass Band over the weekend too at Art of World, and that was cool too, to just see a bunch of dudes fucking vibing on some brass instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think ultimately too, it's obviously, of course, about the music, but I think the energy, like when people are having fun on stage.
Oh, totally.
And you can feel the connection between bandmates. Oh,
dude,
eat that shit up.
Yeah, same. I know it makes me jealous.
Oh,
not because just
happy
like
for them, happy for you guys.
Yeah, thrilled.
But yeah, I want that.
Go off, but yeah.
Yeah, and
well, because that's like creates an experience. That's what's so like.
Totally.
That's irresistible.
Absolutely. I didn't go to this show, but Zach Baker he played the Liquid Zoo stage at Bauhaus for Art of World, and it's like the big stage of the event. And he wrote a post about it and was just like, it just reminded me of a show that I played like probably 2 years ago now on a big stage with a big crowd, and I was singing cover songs, like it was not that serious. But that just feels so good to be on a stage. Feels so good. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. Got to get back on there for sure. But yeah, summertime is my time for sure.
you do anything in the winter?
Do I?
Yeah, like creative. I know, like, you know, Becky Capel.
Mm-hmm.
I know her process. Last I heard was like write, record, like work through the winter, and then just perform all that stuff.
I
Yeah.
think that's
In the
how
summer.
a lot of the scene plays
Yeah.
it.
That is, yeah. I am not that. I'm not that smart. So I've just been trying to do
Strategic.
everything all the time. And now I'm realizing, like, oh shit, wait, hold on. It's. I think that's a good way to do it. That's what I've just been trying to do all of it
When you can. I
all
think
the
too,
time,
like,
and that's like not. It doesn't work. I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
Is like at least. I mean,
it
I
makes
think
sense.
here it makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
to be in the winter, holed up, like
Yeah.
recording and shit. But I think any sequencing like that you can do, or
Like a rhythm.
yeah,
Yeah.
finding a rhythm.
It'd be hard to do that, especially if you start it wrong.
Right.
You put
yeah.
your record
there's
out in the summer.
Yeah.
Oops.
Totally. Yeah.
Track over a summer and then put it out the middle of winter.
Yeah. Well, it takes planning too. That's what I'm realizing is like
Totally.
you have to be looking way like
So far.
if you want to block off a month, 2 months, 3 months to do XYZ, like you better know about it 9 months beforehand.
For real. I think I have a problem with that. I mean, I definitely like plan in advance, but not like that hard.
I was planning, but not far enough out.
Sure.
Those where I was.
Word.
So that's the move for this winter. I'm now starting to
yeah.
think about that. I'm not doing anything.
Did you just recently do a songwriter round thing?
I don't. Let's see. I think I have done it. You mean TJDs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done 1 or 2 of them. I think the last one was in December.
Okay.
Which was it was more of like that was like a holiday free for all. It was like 20 of us.
Oh,
Just
cool.
or maybe not 20, but like.
I don't know why I was thinking I saw your name. Or no, I think it was just a post of you guys. That's what it was. You guys just played a tune and posted it on social media recently?
Oh, yeah,
Am I
we
making
did.
that up? Okay.
Yeah. He was like, he texted me. I fucking love Taylor. He texted me randomly and was like, bring your DI over because it needs to be dialed in. I was like,
Okay.
all right, man. So, whatever you say. Because he knows that shit. This is all new to me. And I bought this DI with too many more buttons than I deserve. And like, don't know what to do with it. So anyway, I went over to his house and he did that for me. And then we sat in the backyard and did a little video. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He's got a good backyard, a good content backyard.
Hell
He's got a
yeah.
lilac bush and shit.
Bro, for real.
Sounds like Taylor.
Yeah.
He would have a
I
lilac.
mean, if anyone here would, be Taylor.
Yeah.
If anyone here, Taylor's in the room with us.
Yeah, he's right here. Yeah.
In spirit. I do always feel his spirit with me. You know?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, how about goals? Any goals that are on your mind right now?
Yeah. Well, we kind of covered finding a rhythm is like a very serious goal of mine.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I gotta, it's just for sanity and sustainability. Like I need to just find a better. I started playing and it was like balls to the wall, and it has kept being that way. And I just need to find a more sustainable pace and like rhythm. But beyond that, like I think going deeper into my songwriting and developing a more regular practice for that is I think that's my next biggest goal is just like, thus far the songs have kind of come out as they please. And I don't have a consistent, super consistent writing practice. I've tried a bunch of different shit. I've like tried,
Yeah.
the
feel
writer's
that.
way and like all kinds of other different.
Wait, the artist way?
The artist's way.
Word.
yes.
I was just
yeah.
gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do the morning pages?
I did the morning pages.
For how
yes.
long?
Yeah. I did them, honestly, dude, I did them for like 3 to 4 months last year.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wait, what is this?
Morning pages are like basically like you're supposed to write 3 pages worth of just like thoughts.
Stream of
okay.
no filter.
Okay.
Yeah. No stopping, 3 pages every
Sure.
morning.
Yeah.
I thought they were helpful I got some interesting stuff out of it. Ultimately, I think I started writing with what I was writing in the pages was I was writing with a voice, not like my artist voice. That was like my like analytical like.
Yeah. And I think that is kind of the point though too, is to get through
Get
all
that
the
shit
junk
out.
that's in there so that you can get to the
That's true.
to the other stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't finish that. Like I think I read the first like couple chapters of it.
Yeah.
But that's how I journal. And I tend to do that every day, but I
Mm-hmm.
have an issue with like being intentional. Like I'm going to sit down and write a song, you know. I just write.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, you know, I've got all these words and these thoughts and these feelings, but I do have a hard time organizing. So when Tom was like, write when you're drunk and edit or revise when you're sober, I think this summer I'm hoping that because I'm feeling so good and the sun's shining that it'll be a good time to like
Get drunk.
organize. Well, that for sure, but also just like organize and like make shit make sense together. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I love just the stream of conscious thought. I love that. And
yeah.
I think that was in my way of journaling and writing was that I had to be like organized and pretty about it.
Yeah.
Or like I can't, even though this one thing came up, I have to finish writing what I was just talking about. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I say,
yeah.
go on if you have to, yeah.
So is that how you like? Is that how a song comes about? Is you're just like you're journaling and something happens and you're like that's a song and you follow it?
I think I have very few finished songs. If I would even consider any of my songs finished, honestly. I have one single release that I wrote with Sam Burgin and Aurelio. He didn't write it with me, but he's on it.
Yeah.
And that one's finished just because it's out. You know what I mean? Like I think if it still existed without that.
I was like trying to read my way into like a songwriting practice right now. It's like basically just like the point of any like writing advice is like you just have to do it, and yet I can't stop getting books about how to do it. But I was reading Jeff Tweedy has a book called How to Write One Song, I think it's called. But he had I think he might have been quoting somebody else, but he said something like a work of art can never be finished. It can only be abandoned in an interesting place. Which has helped me finish many a song.
Sure,
Okay,
yeah.
that's for what that's worth. Yeah, like, even to think that a song is finished once it's out is like, not really. No. It's just where you left it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. That's helped me a lot. Where it's
Cool.
because I'm looking for a finish line and like
Totally.
Some
How do you know
random
what it is?
check.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be finished? Because it has a
Totally.
certain, you know what I mean.
Totally.
You just leave it in an interesting place,
Yeah.
and then you show it to people.
Cool. I really like that take.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with Coffee. Was
For sure.
like, there was talk of re-singing it.
Yep. Like retracking, yeah.
And then retracking it. And at one point, I even like redid the drums with like a better tone, but then it wasn't as good of a take.
Yeah.
So I think, Coffee just kind of got abandoned in a pretty interesting place. Pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah, yes. And that, I think like that existing as it does means a lot to me because it is very like, that was how it was made. Like it wasn't revised really.
Yeah.
It like the vocals on that are like the takes that I took the night we wrote it,
Yeah, right.
which is really I feel like that makes me feel like how we were talking about like how a song can like teleport you to a time.
Yeah.
Like that makes me feel that in an extra way,
Yeah.
because it's like that was, I
The
really
moment.
feel there when I listen to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Basically live.
Basically live. Basically. But yeah, I hope that this is my summer of figuring out, like organizing my thoughts.
Yeah.
And feeling that like, that I can share something that like maybe it's,
Yeah.
not finished, but.
So do you have like, okay, Loretta Lynn apparently just has had like entire outbuilding full of shoeboxes with just like notes of like one line things. And if somebody came over to write with her, she would like invite them to the
Fuck yeah,
to the
that's
thing and
awesome.
like So she'd be like, take a box and find like a line, and they would pull something out and they would start writing together. Is that what you have?
That's basically
Do
what
you
I
just
have,
have like
bro.
little snippets everywhere?
Yeah, or yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not always small, but yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like unfinished chunks. Yeah, it is hard to know. I guess I end up having sort of a similar thing. It's
Yeah.
just like, how do you make this a full song?
Yeah, and for me, it's organizing. I think that feels so like it's hard. You know what? For me, it's always like a verse and a chorus comes nice and easy.
Sure.
But like following that format and keeping the theme
Expanding on it.
and like, yeah,
Yeah.
not taking the story too far, but not repeating the same fucking thing I just said.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It can be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
That part is hard for me for sure.
Yeah. When you say organized, you're thinking like
Verse, chorus,
just
verse,
keeping.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
I really like the idea of the shoebox thing though.
Isn't that great?
Because that's really when I get to a place of like, okay, I will sit down and try to write a song versus like just writing to write. That's what I do is I'll go to like my notes app from like 3 years ago.
I need a better system for that. That's the thing. I think I have to. It's like out of sight, out of mind for me. I've recently started like, I need to have Post-its or like flash. Like I
like
need to
that.
have the
Yeah.
ideas written out and like sitting out, available to like grab. Because
Oh my
otherwise,
God.
I don't know. I don't remember this shit. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Or like, I don't have a good way to look through it and be
Yeah.
like, oh, that resonates today. I think I'm gonna write on that.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I just visualized like you know those bulletin boards with like the connecting the dots like crime scene shit. Like that
Conspiracy
I'm about to
theory,
do that
like
shit in my
red
office.
yarn.
yeah, exactly. Dude, and that could be fun to just put it on paper, to have a physical form.
Yeah.
Those ideas.
That's, I think, I end up doing, my head's like too, I need it out in the world, like in front of me physically, I think, written out to like invisible
Yeah.
to keep track
Totally
of.
fair.
I think Sam's got a couple notebooks.
Yeah.
That, like over the ages. I think he left one at the studio one day, and I was like by myself, just like digging through it. I felt kind of dirty. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
it's like diary
this is like
vibes, yeah.
there's probably some shit in here that I've never heard.
Yep.
And I don't think there was. It was all familiar stuff, but it was really old stuff that just reminded me of like, you know, this is stuff we were doing 2 years ago, that he's still like coming back to.
That's what's crazy is that you feel so much pressure in the moment that you're writing something good to like, I got to act on this now.
Yeah.
But it's amazing it's sometimes like that shit. I have to remind myself, like I've had songs that have been completed at like a year or so after I wrote the first line or the main idea or whatever it is. Like sometimes they're not meant to happen
Right away.
right away. And like trusting that is really tough, can be tough.
Absolutely.
Or like understanding the song. Give her write a song that you don't like, I don't
What
even
does
know
this
what
even-
am I talking about.
Totally.
Right.
And then a year later,
Totally.
Or like writing something and then it meaning something different to you later. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. That's how I feel about coffee. Like
Yeah.
that was so like, yeah, about something, and it's just not anymore about that. You know, to me, anyways. And I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. It gets many lives.
Yeah, totally. I am worried about time right now.
I'm at 55 minutes in Pro Tools.
Okay, let's wrap up. Even though this has been so great.
I know, this is a good hang. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I usually let people plug at the end. Anything you want to plug as far as like music, shows, socials?
Yeah. I have a website, which is claredoyle.com, and I do make an effort to keep it pretty updated with shows. So you can find shows and other shit there. I'm most active on Instagram, and my handle is Clare Doyle Music. Yeah, and I guess by this point, by the time the episode airs, I hope to be announcing new music soon in the form of either an EP or maybe a slightly longer thing for late summer or early fall.
Medium player.
A medium
player.
an MP.
Bro, incredible.
That's the new thing.
Everybody's doing it.
Yep.
All right. Let's applaud.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's give
All right.
ourselves.
Dude, thank you guys for having me. This
Dude,
was
thanks
such
for
a
being
fun
here.
hang.
This was one of my favorites, dare I say.
Aw.
Yeah, this was good.
It's like a real hang.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
It's like
that.
a true ass hang.
Yeah, this is good. I really love
True
what's
ass
happening.
hang.
True
I'm
ass
gonna.
hang.
I feel like that's a tattoo. Like, do you know
True
what I
ass
mean?
hang.
That's like in a heart with like a ribbon. Oh man.
You got nothing.